Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell, author of 22 books, Marine Corps veteran, founder of the Second Amendment March, proud father of 7, grandfather to 20 and counting, and as a special bonus, I'm also madly in love with my own wife. My priorities in life are God, family, and country in that order, and I hereby promise to never compromise in my convictions. I may go broke, but I'll never go woke. And joining me today is my faithful co-host, my adoring, loving wife, my healthy wife, Sara Coryell.
Glad to be here. Thank
You're
you
healthy?
for having me back again. Yes.
You're like the only one in the family who's healthy.
Well, I did get super sick a few months ago, so
So you gave it to all of us?
I don't know about that, but I'm wondering if that helped me fight it. I don't know.
Well, you didn't get sick this time.
Well, glory to God.
I feel like...
I had to take care of everybody else.
Well, that's true.
Tired. I'm ready for y'all to get well so I can have help again.
You have been doing that. My nose is running like crazy. My throat is sore. My voice isn't fantastic.
You sound great, honey. You sound great.
I sound great. I know better than that, but that's okay. Our son Phoenix, he was really quite sick last week.
Fever that just didn't want to stop.
Yeah, that scared me. Scared me a lot. I don't know. You are nursing him back to health. He's much better now.
Thank you. He's smiling and laughing and cracking jokes. It's great.
Well, and
Has an appetite again. I hate it when 16-year-old boys don't have an appetite. They're like, that's just not right.
well, now it's time for you to nurse me back to health.
Okay. You're gonna be a good patient. Do what your nurse tells you to do.
Drinking
You're
this
drinking my tea.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. You're drinking my tea. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I mean, I appreciate it and everything, but it really doesn't taste very good.
That was the goal was not to taste amazing.
Oh.
The goal was to taste palatable while healing you. So
Can you make a tea with just like milk and sugar and stuff like that?
absolutely.
That would heal me?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, well. Well, folks, it's winter. And this is what happens in wintertime in Michigan. I think
here.
it happens all over the country, though. I mean, we talk to our friends across the country, and it seems like half of the country is sick right now.
Yeah, a lot of people are fighting stuff. It's true.
I have to shove toilet paper up my nose in order to stop the running. Probably looks funny, but people can't see it. We should turn on the dash cam so people
You
can see.
think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, all right. Oh, that's much better. Enough of our sickness here. Sara, tell us what is on the show today.
Today we are talking to Colonel Denny Gillem, the host of America's Frontlines, all about 4 hotspots in the world and whether or not they'll break out in war during 2026. Ooh, that sounds serious.
It is serious.
Then in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report, we'll be talking with attorney and self-defense instructor Deron Boring, and we'll be answering the question, is crime going up or down in 2026?
What's your guess? What do you think, Sara? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down?
How can I guess that? It's what the conversation's about.
Well, it's a guess. That's the nature of a guess. You don't really know. You're just, here's my guess. What do you think?
Down.
You think it's going to go down?
Sure.
That's optimistic.
It's my name, Sara.
Well, we will answer that question in segment 3, okay?
Basing it on the number of people who are, the CPL classes seem to be that everybody else feels pretty secure. So
Well, yeah.
I'm going with
yes,
that.
They do. We'll find out, though.
Yeah.
All right. But before we get too far into the show, let's thank our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, and Trinity Training and Security. All right, Sara, you got a wild one in the news today. Tell us about it.
You guys are not going to believe this one. There were 3 children, ages 8, 11, and 12. I'm going to read that again. 8, 11, 12. Led Newburgh Heights police on a high-speed pursuit in a stolen car after learning how to steal the vehicle from YouTube tutorials. The incident occurred December 20, 2025 in
So,
Ohio.
so you still think crime's going to go down? If all the 8-year-olds go out stealing cars, that doesn't bode well.
All right. And an 11-year-old was driving the stolen car, which was reportedly going as fast as 80 miles per hour during the chase. The children told police they watched YouTube videos that demonstrated how to use a USB cable to break into the steering column and hotwire the car, a method linked to viral social media trends targeting specific car models. The pursuit ended when the driver lost control and crashed into the side of a house. No injuries were reported to anyone in the car or the home. The children fled the scene on foot, but were quickly apprehended by officers who held them at gunpoint during the arrest. They were released to their parents, and charges were filed in juvenile court. Newburgh Heights Police Chief John Majoy expressed sadness and concern over the incident, noting the lack of effective juvenile deterrence and the easy availability of such content online. He said the 11-year-old driver would face charges including fleeing and eluding and receiving stolen property, while the 12-year-old would be charged with receiving stolen property. The 8-year-old might not be charged due to his age.
I think he should be charged too.
You do. Probably he was being babysat by one of those older kids and they just kind of drug him along. Poor guy.
Well, I don't know. I,
I think maybe confiscating all sources of internet might be a good idea for a little bit. That seems like
yeah, yeah.
good.
I agree. I mean,
Mhm.
social media, I don't think it's our friend, especially, I mean, people are talking about should children be allowed to be on social media? And this is,
This is just YouTube. This isn't, does this
yeah,
have
I
anything to do
know,
with social
I
media?
know,
I mean, this is just YouTube, but look what they did. It's so dangerous.
I know.
I mean, truly, YouTube's freezing what good content and then letting that stay on there. I mean, seriously, YouTube,
Well,
grow a little bit of a, chutzpah there.
this begs the question, where are the parents?
Yeah,
Where are the parents? I mean,
maybe
w-
they're working. Who knows?
well, but we watch our kids like
Well,
a hawk. If they were planning to do something like this, I think we would notice. I mean, they're not that unsupervised. I mean, they're like 14 and 16, the two younger ones, but still, they don't take off on their own and go out and steal a car.
yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty crazy.
well, another question I think is valid is should this kind of stuff be on the internet? I mean, I understand the First Amendment and all of that, but should it be legal for this stuff like this to be on the internet? Like how to build a Molotov cocktail, how to build a bomb, how to start a riot, how to steal a car. Should it be on the internet available to children?
Well, that's a really hard question because once you start saying that those things shouldn't be, then you have to, make rules and then you have to enforce the rules. Otherwise, your rules mean nothing. When really the problem is much closer to the heart than that. It's like if we could solve the family problem,
Yeah,
these kids needed to be nurtured better. They're not, it's true, they're not being
yeah.
nurtured well for whatever reason. Like, we don't really know what's going on with the parents. Maybe they want to nurture their kids better and they can't for what happened to the parents. Like there's a story there too. So like there's kind of a combination of things. We have to help each other. These kids could have neighbors who are taking better care. Like
Sure.
nobody's watching them. It's not there's a story,
I
probably many stories overlapping.
yeah.
And we can't just be like, I don't want to be all like super judgy, like the parents are being bad, but obviously these kids aren't being watched. Like,
I'm going to say something
crazy.
controversial.
Okay, you go ahead.
Well, well, and some people will accuse me of all kinds of foul, vile, nasty things, but I've noticed something since I've been working at this arcade slash sports bar. I told you a few nights ago, basically the bar was taken over by about 100 teenagers. And they were all, I would say they were between the ages of like 12 and 17 in that area. And none of them had their parents with them. 100 of them. Okay, they showed up, and the facility only holds about 1,000 people. So
Okay.
10% of them, they just showed up and they just started loitering around, causing trouble. They basically took over.
All the way down to 12. Like 12 seems very
Yeah,
small.
yeah.
Like
Small
at
kids.
17, you're not going to manage your 17-year-old because that's not going to work very well.
Well,
But at 12, you should be managing your
it's
12-year-old.
against the rules for them to be there without their parent.
Even at 17?
Yes,
Mm,
yes.
well,
And so the manager had us go around and basically said, "Okay, get them all out of here."
because they had no parents at
Yeah.
all. Okay.
Well,
I mean, their
it's a
parents weren't
rule
there.
that gets enforced when it becomes a problem.
Okay. Mm,
Okay. And respectful, law-abiding parents and families don't want to come if they're surrounded by, 100 teenagers
unmanaged
that are,
teenagers.
yeah,
Yeah.
that are out of control. It took us about 2 hours to get those kids out of there. We had to call the police. Two patrol cars came up, and even once the police department was there, it took them about 45 minutes to get those kids out of there because they wouldn't go. They just said, no, no, we don't have to go. Tell us why. They kept saying, tell us why, explain to us why. Well, there are the rules right there. This is private property. They did not understand why they weren't entitled to be there, regardless of private property laws. The thing is, and here's the controversial part, out of those 100 teenagers,
Okay.
they were all non-white people.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
And
all is a big word.
yes, I know, but I was there. Okay.
I'm just
And
saying.
and, and I'm telling you, like the demographics of the area, it's not 100% non-white in that area. It's a
Mixed.
majority white neighborhood. Um,
Where'd they come from?
I don't know. But my point is these three kids, 8, 11, and 12, they were non-white. What is happening in the non-white world? I'm talking black and Hispanics, okay? What is happening in those communities that makes it so parents aren't involved in their kids' lives? And when you look at the stats
Hmm.
for black homes,
A lot of them are fatherless.
yes. Last stat I saw, 70% were raised in single parent homes.
So the mom can't do everything. She
No, she
can't.
can't.
She's not supposed to. And so she's being asked to
Yeah,
make a living and raise the kids, and that's too much. And the
yeah,
schools aren't really doing a great job right now. So she relies on the public school because she has to.
yeah. Well, I don't think that kids like this, they're not bad because they're black.
No.
They're bad because they're not being raised
Well,
properly.
yeah,
They're not being loved, they're not being nurtured, they're
the
not being disciplined.
yeah. I mean, we watched a video of those three kids getting,
Yeah,
arrested.
they were scared to death.
They were scared to death. They didn't know what was going. I mean, they were like
Yeah.
terrified of the officer. It wasn't just the gun. It was like because yeah, they were pulling out a gun on him. But I mean, they weren't
Yeah,
like they're just kids. They just needed to be watched
yeah,
better.
exactly.
It
But
was really sad.
I just believe that there's a crisis in the black community. It's a crisis of missing fathers.
Well, it is a
And
crisis
yeah,
because the mothers aren't supposed to
and
do it.
they just keep repeating it.
Right.
I don't know how many generations in it's been since it's been like
I'm
this,
sure it
but
depends on the
it's
family.
a big problem.
Yeah. The
And
Hispanic family is different though, right? I mean, I don't.
well, it
It,
was until all of the gang activity. It's becoming different now because of all the illegal aliens that we have here. There are a lot of illegal aliens. Even after Trump's done everything that he's done, it's a factor. It is a big factor.
what, coming from fatherless homes or coming from
Well, no,
they're just leaving,
they're
getting
I don't
pulled
know if
over.
it's a fatherless home or if they don't even have parents here. I don't know. I can't speak to that aspect of it, but there are plenty of stats about fatherless homes in the Black community. And I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest
Well, I
problem
guess if
here.
we see that. So, is there anything we can do to help? I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem, and I don't know how to solve it. I just don't. And it's sad, but what are you going to do? I mean, you can't let them take over
No.
facilities,
No,
and
they
you
have to
know
understand about boundaries,
you
but
just can't do that.
right.
In this case, the 8, 11, and 12-year-old, hopefully they'll get the crap scared out of them, and they'll decide, yeah, maybe I should try and get myself straightened out. I mean,
At 8, I mean, how can they?
I know, honey, but what are you gonna do? I
Yeah,
don't know what to do.
I don't either. Well, let's pray for him.
Okay.
Let's pray.
Something a little happier, please.
You sure? You ready? You
Yes,
ready?
hero of the
All
week.
right. Golden retrieved. Dramatic photos and videos show firefighters in Rhode Island raced across dangerously thin ice to rescue a pooch that fell through a frozen pond during a morning walk with its owner. The rescue unfolded just before 9 a.m. on New Year's Day at Little Massachusetts Pond, according to the fire department. Officials said the dog, identified by the fire department in a Facebook post as Phoenix, a golden retriever, had wandered onto the pond and fallen through a thin layer of ice near the center, leaving the animal struggling in freezing water while its owner watched from the shore. Firefighters from multiple departments responded within minutes, donning specialized ice rescue suits and carefully crawling across the unstable surface to reach the dog. According to the Misquamicut Fire Department, crews were dispatched alongside the Westerly Ambulance Corps and Westerly Police Department after receiving reports of a dog trapped in the icy pond. Volunteers were on the scene within minutes and located Phoenix, a golden retriever, struggling in the water and unable to move, with his owner safely on shore. The department said in a Facebook post. Firefighters, wearing bright orange and red ice rescue suits, were seen crawling across the frozen pond while tethered with safety ropes as chunks of ice broke around them. God bless you for saving that pup. Responders like you remind us that there is good and kindness, a Facebook user wrote. Another commenter added, "We are also lucky to have such a great fire and rescue department. Very lucky dog."
All right, you happy now?
Yeah, I love that
You
story.
had a
It's
good
great.
dog story. The dog was saved. But
I
I
have a weakness for dogs. It's
I know, I
yeah.
know you do. Um, but my heart keeps going back to the 8, the 11, and the 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I can't get the whole time you were reading that, I couldn't focus on the dog story because I was just reminded of, my experiences at the arcade,
Hmm.
and the thing is, I've noticed there's a huge, the big difference isn't skin color. I see a lot of black families come in
Hmm.
with a mom and a dad. When
Respectful,
children,
polite,
they're
fun.
respectful, they're polite. There's no difference between them
Hmm.
and any other color of child, right?
So it's about that. That's a family dynamic that's
Yeah,
healthy and
it's
intact,
it's
and they're
that's right. If they have a healthy family, they'll have healthy children. If they don't, then they won't. And somehow,
well, the odd thing was you were describing the rules very straightforward. Like this is private property. That
yeah,
should mean something to somebody who has private property to understand
right,
about, right? I mean, you kind of learn about that from your siblings usually. It's like, okay, this is mine, that's yours. And you kind of learn that this is I set the rules for my stuff and you set the rules for your stuff and then your parents moderate to make sure that you learn respect of those
yeah,
things. But then when you go out into the public sphere, then you understand this is their stuff and
yeah.
that's their rules about their stuff and so you respect that. So they're not respecting other people's rules
That
somewhere.
that has to be taught. It has to be
Mhm.
modeled.
Usually you're
You know,
given
and,
that.
and I was speaking with the bar manager there, and he shared me. He says, "Yeah, I was raised in a single parent home. My
Oh,
my mom was a drug addict,
oh, brother.
and he said these kids that are coming in,
Mhm.
he said they're raised in single parent homes, and they will do anything to keep from going home at night because when they get home, they get yelled and screamed at. Their mom is high or on drugs, or she's not home because she's working, and they don't want to be there alone. And he just described a really sad
Yeah,
situation,
it's
but he
horrible.
did it from experience.
Right.
Okay, and he's a white guy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it can happen whether you're white family or a black family. If
Right.
the family is broken, the family is broken, and broken families have a greater chance of making broken children, and broken children make broken families.
Well,
It's a cycle.
can. Or you,
But
yeah, it's hard. You have to get
yeah,
off.
sorry, that's on my mind, but the dog is fine.
Dog is fine.
Don't worry about society because they saved the golden retriever.
Oh, goodness.
Phoenix, the golden retriever.
Good.
All right. All right, Sarah, what's coming up next?
Next, we're talking with Colonel Denny Gillem, the host of America's Frontlines, all about the 4 hotspots in the world and whether or not they'll break out in war during 2026. Let's hope not. Then, in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report, we'll talk with attorney and self-defense instructor Deron Boring, and we'll be answering the question, is crime going to go up or down in 2026?
Okay, so stay tuned to find out about that. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe because we will be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Attention business owners. Are you leaving your website open to security issues and hacking due to a lack of maintenance or overseas outsourcing? Don't let that happen to your business. Choose experienced U.S.-based website developers that can customize your website to fit your specific needs. Appletree MediaWorks has been growing businesses online since 2009. With over 80 years of combined experience, their team conducts constant research and development to keep up with ever-changing online threats. Your website deserves the best protection available. Call Appletree MediaWorks today at 877-977-1364 to keep your website secure and grow your business online. Or visit appletree.media.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me. And I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
In today's world, safety and preparedness are more important than ever. At Trinity Training and Security, we offer comprehensive training for your peace of mind. Whether you're obtaining your concealed pistol license, mastering CPR and first aid, or engaging in scenario-based training, we've got you covered. We look forward to working with you in one of our classes or bringing the class to your church, school, or business. Need security for an event? Protecting your assets? Our team provides private security, close protection, media crew escorts, high security terminations, and more. Always with discretion and professionalism. With Trinity, safety is more than a service. It's a commitment.
He's no Einstein, but he can read and write and feed himself just like a big boy. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show. Folks, we live in a dangerous world, and I want you to be able to protect and defend the ones you love. And that's why I have this show. It's my way of empowering you to accomplish one of your primary jobs in life. You are a protector and a defender. All right, listeners, before we get too far into the show, don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, and Apple Tree Media. Without our sponsors, this show wouldn't be on the air, so we thank you all. And now I'd like to welcome back a friend of mine, a longtime friend, so long that I'm starting to feel old just talking about it. Colonel Denny Gillem, the host of America's Front Lines. Denny, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
Well, thank you, young man. I appreciate the welcome.
Well, that's why I had you on the show, just because you're older than me and you'll call me young man.
Well, somebody has to do that.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Well, Denny, for the benefit of the people who don't know you, just give us, a 30, 40-second summary of who the heck is Denny Gillem.
Well, I grew up in California. I went to West Point, graduated in 1964 as an infantryman, served 2 years in Vietnam as an infantryman commanding a platoon and a rifle company in combat. Ended up serving 22 years on active duty in the military in a lot of different positions. My final position was in Michigan as Army advisor to the Michigan National Guard. We fell in love with this lovely place and retired because we thought it was a great place to live. And we've been here over 40 years. In business, I've run a couple of businesses. I've taught college. I've done a lot of things like that. I've hosted a talk radio show. And as Skip mentioned, I'm now the host of a podcast, americasfrontlines.com. And besides that, I really like harassing Marine veterans.
Do you really? Well, for those of you who don't know, I'm Denny's co-host on America's Frontlines. You need to check it out. In my newsletter every week, I put out a link to America's Frontlines podcast. We have a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you need to do that, americasfrontlines.com. But Denny, you were also a Mideast war planner, were you not?
I was indeed. And indeed, the 4 years I was a Mideast war planner was during the Jimmy Carter years when we tried to rescue our people who they'd captured out of our embassy in Iran and messed it up and did a lot of dumb things. So it was an interesting 4 years. That was in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah. Well, you know a lot about, world events, especially, related to the military regimes, things like that. And, this being the new year, I thought we would just take a snapshot of what's going on around the world right now, the challenges for 2026. And, I opened up my news app this morning, and I can tell you, not the entire world is at peace. All things aren't well, but there are some hot spots. And so, I just want to go over. There were four that were in the news app just today, and so I thought I'm just going to rattle one off, and I want to get your comment on where you think it's headed. What do you think is going to happen in 2026? And because these are pretty big news topics. So are you buckled up?
I got my seatbelt fastened. Yes, sir.
All right.
Put me in, Coach.
Okay. Russia versus Ukraine. What is going to happen over there?
One of the things that I find most interesting, Russia has been complaining for the last few days that Ukraine dared to attack one of Putin's vacation homes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's free to bomb their whole country and all their people, but he's upset because they attacked a vacation home. Oh, and by the way, now it appears that, this isn't confirmed, that it was anti-Putin Russians who attacked his home, trying to get rid of him. So maybe Ukraine's got a whole bunch of allies in Russia
Yeah.
that are just now stepping up. So to make an understatement, an interesting situation. That's a very awkward situation there, but Putin, who's the dictator, doesn't want to be reasonable. He doesn't want to play fair. He doesn't want to do anything he can avoid doing. So I don't think this is going to come to a happy ending unless the Russian people get rid of him.
Yeah.
President Trump came up with a really good proposal that got some things going, but I don't see Putin as willing to do anything that gives him anything other than total victory by his definition. So I personally don't think it's going to work, despite Trump's really good efforts.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I have a terrible habit of agreeing with each other.
Oh,
Um, maybe that's why I'm such a good co-host. What do you think?
yeah, well, that's true.
Well, that exact thought. Um, as soon as I heard that it was reported that Ukraine bombed one of his vacation homes, my first thought was, are you sure it was Ukraine? Because I know there's unrest there in Russia. All of the mothers and fathers, the grandparents of all these men that are dying in the Ukraine, and the last figure I heard was about 1 million people. I mean, they have to be getting a little bit war weary, tired of sacrificing their sons to what I view as Putin's ego and his dream of reestablishing the great Soviet Empire.
Well, at the risk of agreeing with you again, yeah,
Yeah, a lot of the world's problems are about ego, and when someone with a huge ego and ill intentions gets in control of a superpower, that's a really bad day.
and that's the kind of people who end up taking power. Dictatorships don't usually get controlled by people who are interested in taking care of the people who brought them in.
Yeah. Well, some people on the left argue, well, what's the difference between Trump and Putin? Well, the difference is we elected Trump, uh, and we did so knowing who he was after his first term, so he was our choice. Putin, the elections there in Russia are a little bit different than they are here in the U.S., aren't they?
That's a gentle way of putting it, yes.
Yes, yes, and Putin's not quite as gentle as we are.
There's
Well,
truth to that too.
yeah. All right. Well, now let's move on to another hot spot. Just this morning, no, actually, it was yesterday. I opened up my app, and China versus Taiwan. Man, China has just launched a whole bunch of massive war games, the biggest war games that just happen to be around the island of Taiwan and the island nation of Taiwan. What do you think is going to happen over there?
Well, first of all, we and the rest of the world very stupidly turned away from Taiwan when we recognized Red China. After World War II, Taiwan, the people who now live in Taiwan, were seen as the Chinese government. They were part of the UN as part of China. But Red China quickly broke away from them, and it's wise. Red China controls 100 times as much turf and people as Taiwan. So we recognized Red China, but we didn't have to not recognize Taiwan. But we did because China claimed that was part of Taiwan. Taiwan was part of Red China, and they still claim that. They keep playing games, but they haven't done anything militarily to attack Taiwan. They've run all kinds of exercises. I believe that is another one of those ego things that we've been talking about, that the dictator in Red China really, really wants him back. He's afraid of what we and others will do if he actually attacks Taiwan. So he's does all these things, if nothing else, to make his people think he's doing what he said he'd do. This is a case where probably the biggest enemy the United States has in this world is Red China. And there they are playing dictator of the world. I don't know why we buy anything from Red China. I don't know why we have any relationships with Red China. But I think that things will not change, and particularly not as long as we maintain our strong relationship with Taiwan as we have been and as I hope we will be.
Yeah. Well, maybe one thing that Donald Trump could do, the U.S., would be to recognize Taiwan and try to get them back in the UN, the same way that we did communist China. That would certainly send a message, because as soon as China, Xi Jinping, as soon as he believes that we won't defend Taiwan,
Boom.
Taiwan's gone.
Yeah, good point. What we've got to do is anything we can do to let them know, let Red China know that they can't call the shots the way they want to. And apparently they do know it because they haven't. They've said the words, but they've never done the deed. I don't consider them trustworthy, but then again, they know that they dare not attack us, though their navy is now bigger than ours. So we
Yeah.
need to start thinking about that too.
Yep, for sure. A lot of challenges out there. Um, Another thing that's a little bit related would be Argentina, Maduro over there. I just saw a headline this morning that says he is willing to negotiate with Donald Trump. Um, Argentina, Maduro versus Trump. Who's going to win?
I don't even have to think long about that one. I feel very confident that the Venezuelan people could tell the difference between their lives before him and after him. So there certainly must be a movement, although with an absolute dictatorship like he runs, it's pretty dangerous to be in any way open about it. I expect he'll be gone before too long, but I hope so, because as long as he's around, I don't see any progress being made. None at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That it's definitely a hot spot. I don't see it something, I guess it can't disrupt world peace or start a world war unless China and Russia came in on their side, and that's not really in their best interest, and they have other things that they're worried about right now. So I think Maduro is gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Secure the Western Hemisphere, and get China and Russia out of here. Um, I'd feel a whole lot safer if we did that. What about another news app? Just this morning, Iranian protesters are being killed in Iran, but people are rising up. They're trying to overthrow, the religious leaders there and take back their country. Well, what do you think is going to happen there?
Wow, there's a great question, and stay tuned. It's the only thing I can come up with.
But it's so fluid and it's volatile over there, because when you have these protests like that, basically, isn't it? It's up to the people. It's like, do you want freedom, or are you going to cower? Are you going to give in and just trade your freedom for stability and bondage? But it's the same question in Iran. Do you want freedom or do you want dictatorship, as the Russian people have? So, and Argentina. It's all the same. And the question is, what are the people going to do? Are they going to stand up and fight for their freedom, or are they just going to, relax and say, okay, fine, go ahead, take my sons and daughters?
Well, clearly the dictators are all acting like dictators, with big egos and unwillingness to admit anything. I don't think there's any question that if Iran pushes too hard, President Trump may give them another message delivered by
By
our
the air.
military, that will influence some of that. It's so hard. I've studied Iran so much that the only thing I know is it is truly a dictatorship, and it truly does not represent, while it controls the country and the people, it doesn't represent the people. And there are many that object to that, but most people are cowed by it and won't do anything.
Yeah.
So, ouch. I mean, you got to remember that Israel has got a little stake in this too, and who knows what they're doing. And they truly know how to operate in that area with their special ops people.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a good ally for this. Yeah, I think if you were to sum up all four of these hotspots that you and I have been talking about, one of the recurring themes is ego, the ego of dictators, and it reminds me of an interview I did 3-4 weeks ago with a mutual friend of ours, Craig Gray. Our resident Krav Maga guy.
Yep.
And one of the things that Craig always says is, your ego is not your amigo. And that is so true. It's not even, a friend or an asset to a dictator. You let it take control of you, and, eventually someone bigger, more powerful is going to take control. So,
well, my ego is my amigo unless I'm dealing with other people.
well, okay. All right. Well, a little bit of humility goes a long, long way. Okay, that's 4. Russia, China, Iran, Argentina. Not a whole lot going on in North Korea, other than there was inklings of a possible regime change there, but that's just going from Kim Jong-un to his sister, whatever her name is, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But anything that we missed, Denny?
Well, there is a lot of terrorism going on in the United States, anti-Semitism. I mean, I can't remember when shooting or killing people in the United States was a cool thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the people that are making life threats on other people and their families, wow, this is not a culture that I grew up with or that I want to see last very long at all. But we, the people, have got to change it because nobody else could change it.
Yep, you're right. You're right. We don't have as much control over what happens in Russia, China, Iran, and Argentina, but we certainly have control of what happens here in the U.S. And if you feel like you don't, then study your civics, because you really, really do. All right. Well, Colonel, please tell people where they can go to find out more about you and the things that you're doing now.
Well, I am the host of a podcast, America's Frontlines. The website is americasfrontlines.com. You can find us on iHeart and all the other podcast locations. And I have an odd thing that I hang around with this one really interesting character named Skip Coryell a lot. So we typically, if you can find one of us, you can find the other one there eventually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And we do have a lot of fun kicking around all this stuff. It's just a lot of fun. Denny, I want to thank you very much for being on the show today. And I look forward to talking to you again next week on America's Frontlines.
It's a deal. Thank you, friend.
All righty. All right, this is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Coming up next, we'll be speaking with self-defense attorney Deron Boring from the great state of Ohio about crime. Is it going up or is it going down? But during the break, I want you to log into rumble.com and search on the Home Defense Show. I posted a series of entertaining and educational videos there just for you. Check them out. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. God bless and stay safe, because we will be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Centershot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Centershot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Attention business owners. Are you leaving your website open to security issues and hacking due to a lack of maintenance or overseas outsourcing? Don't let that happen to your business. Choose experienced U.S.-based website developers that can customize your website to fit your specific needs. Appletree MediaWorks has been growing businesses online since 2009. With over 80 years of combined experience, their team conducts constant research and development to keep up with ever-changing online threats. Your website deserves the best protection available. Call Appletree MediaWorks today at 877-977-1364 to keep your website secure and grow your business online. Or visit appletree.media.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me. And I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
Some say his face is painfully ugly, and I agree. But who cares? This is radio. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Appletree Media, and Centershot Indoor Gun Range for all your training and equipment needs. And now it's time for our weekly self-defense report, sponsored by shootingclasses.com. And today we're speaking with attorney and self-defense instructor Deron Boring. Deron, thanks for coming back on the Home Defense Show today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, what's going on in Ohio? Is it snowing by any chance?
It hasn't stopped snowing for days. It's cold, it's snowy, it's beautiful. I'm tired of driving in it.
Oh gosh, yeah. We have had here in Michigan, we have had so many accidents here. And I think the problem here in Michigan is people, after 3 days of good weather, they forget how to drive on the snow and the ice. And so they just go ahead and just start driving like a maniac again, and they end up in the ditch. And I just smile, salute as I drive by slowly.
I don't think Northeast Ohio is any different on that. It's maddening.
Yeah. Well, enough of the weather. Don't worry. This too shall pass. And in 3 months, it'll be but a memory. Okay, today we were going to talk about something. I think it's controversial because it seems like people never really know what the truth is about the question that I'm going to ask this morning. And that is crime up or is crime down? And I know that's kind of a loaded question because you have to rely on so many other sources, and it's like, is this source right? Is this source wrong? It's hard to say. So I went to the smartest person in the world, which of course is Google AI. And I asked Google artificial intelligence, is crime up or is crime down? And what they did was they measured or I'm talking like it's a real person. They measured crime trends from 2024 to 2025. So this is that comparison. And I wanted to get your opinion on that, and I'll share my opinion as well. But here's what the smartest person in the world thinks, who really isn't a person. It says National Crime Trends 2025 versus 2024. Across the U.S., preliminary data through the end of 2025 shows significant decreases in most major crime categories. Now, before I list these off, what is your gut feeling? Just from Deron Boring there in Ohio, is crime up or is crime down?
I think my gut says it's not down. I think it's being categorized differently.
Okay. All right. We'll hold on to that then. According to AI, homicide showed a 20% decrease from 2024 to 2025. What do you think about that?
First of all, I question where they got the statistics on that to begin with, because if I'm correct on this, that all of the FBI statistics on that are typically a year in arrears anyway. So
Yeah.
where they're getting the statistics other than from news media accounts, I'm not sure.
Oh, well, this is a very reputable source. All right. It has the source right here. The source is NPR, National
Oh,
Public Radio,
yeah.
which,
Well, and who knows where they're getting. I would be curious to see that. I guess we'll throw a couple things out on this one. That one, I know that the FBI crime stats are a year in arrears for one thing, so there's no
Mhm.
way we're getting accurate 2025 numbers. The second thing to it is you have to realize that even if you do look at the FBI crime stats numbers, and I can't claim this is my original work, and just reading things from avowed trainer John Hearn, who does a lot of work on crime and criminals and criminal statistics. I mean, John says repeatedly that, not everybody reports to the FBI. A lot of the bigger agencies don't report. So there you go. That makes it, I figure not a valid number. And then here's the third one that people don't take into consideration. You can say homicide is down, but why is homicide down? Is it down because bad actors have quit doing bad things, or is it down because we have better medical care? And people don't always take that into consideration. Somebody that would have died 10 or 20 years ago based on, hospitals and medicine and EMTs
oh
and
yeah,
things that, they
yeah.
have at their disposal now. What used to be fatal, now not so much.
Yeah, I think a fellow instructor once told me that 85% of handgun victims survive. And it's not so much that people are becoming worse shots. It's more that the emergency medical people are responding faster and better technology, all of that stuff. But I guess I have a couple things in response to what you just said. I read an article, I don't know, about a month ago. This was from Professor John R. Lott, and he was talking about, all of the inadequacies and the incorrect slants in FBI crime stats, how they just weren't doing it correctly, and it was showing, um, things incorrectly. So there's that. But then there's also, I had a legal question for you. What exactly is the definition of a homicide?
Well, homicide is just the killing of a human being at the hands of another human being. Um, if you actually, this is interesting, and this is going to delve kind of into my world of the practice of law. Unfortunately, with what I deal with at work, I see a lot of death certificates, and the cause of death on a death certificate is about as clinical as it gets. And I guess to translate that over to your question about homicide, that homicide includes, self-defense. Even if you shoot somebody in self-defense and you're correct in doing so and are, proven by a court, not charged, what have you, it's still going to list cause of death on the other person's death certificate as a homicide. Same thing goes for a police shooting. Even if it's, again, found completely justifiable and a correct use of force, the cause of death on there is still going to basically say it was cause of death caused by the hands of another human being. So I guess that's the long technical answer of that sort of even takes the emotion out of it and just is straight factual.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was my understanding of it as well. But I think what that means is that if there's a 20% decrease, that could mean a lot of things. We just don't have any details here. It could mean that, 20% fewer bad guys are dying, or it could mean 20% fewer good guys are dying, or any combination of the above.
And it's true. And you don't really have to look much further than a nation's capital when it comes to statistics. That if I recall correctly, the Washington, D.C. police chief just stepped down partially because of her manipulation of crime statistics as they were being reported and recorded and charged and everything else. So, I mean, it took was one congressional investigation on that to prove that. So when I see crime stats, I don't put much faith in them, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on then. Gun assaults saw a 21% decrease, and the source cited there is DHS.
Well, I guess my question is that really a 2025 statistic? And if it is a 2025 statistic, where is Homeland Security getting that? Because again, they have to base that on reporting, and reporting is A, voluntary by local law enforcement, and B, is it timely? And that's a question I always ask with that. I don't know that it's timely. So how far behind is that reporting, I guess?
Well, and the lead sentence here is across the U.S. preliminary data through the end of 2025 shows significant decreases. So this is preliminary, meaning you and I could make this stuff up. Anything that we wanted is preliminary. We can always modify it later on, right?
Well, and that's one of the statistics I always say that's entirely possible. That, even if violent crime is up or violent crime is down, I mean, just that one little blip based on who's reporting, it's entirely possible that that's down. I don't know that I buy it, but
yeah. Well, what about aggravated assault? I think most listeners don't even know what aggravated assault is. What exactly is that?
Well, so aggravated assault is an attack on a person, and assault and battery are these weird combination of things where assault is putting somebody in fear of harmful, offensive contact, and battery is actually the completed assault. And in some states, even Ohio, when you get into that line, it's actually a really sort of a goofy switch of legal definitions and everything else. But the reality of it is an assault is offensive, harmful contact, offensive, harmful behavior from one person towards another. And then you have the aggravated part of it, which typically has some sort of factor to it, whether it's use of a firearm, use of another weapon. And then you can even look at what's the intent of that person. And again, the definition varies from state to state, so I'm being pretty broad on that.
Yeah.
But when you look at assault here, and I think I said this on one of my other recent spots with you, that a lot of states now are either not able to or are not charging attempted murder, and they're charging aggravated assault instead. And some of that is just what's easier to prove, what's easier to charge, what's easier to get a conviction. And then you add to the interesting part of that, what sounds nicer? Does attempted murder sound nicer on paper, or does aggravated assault, where, oh, they just punched somebody? When you hear assault, you don't think, they shot somebody.
Yeah. I got aggravated, so I punched somebody.
Mm-hmm.
In the face with a knife.
Yeah. And I mean, and I hate to say that, but that's, as with a lot of other things in society, a change in wording and terminology. makes something sound a lot better and softer and different than it really is. And I hate to say this, you ask the average American, walk down the street and ask them on a corner, would you rather be the victim of an aggravated assault, or would you rather be the victim of attempted murder? And you're probably going to get the question aggravated assault. And honestly, it's absolutely no different, because again, a lot of states now don't charge or even don't have a category in criminal code for attempted murder. It's all assault now.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was, according to AI, there was a 10% decrease in aggravated assault. But hey, who knows? When the FBI crime stats come out, we'll know for sure, hopefully. But then we move down the food chain here. We come to robbery, has a 20% decrease. And then motor vehicle theft was a 25% decrease. Residential burglary, a 19% decrease. And larceny, a 12% decrease. So according to AI, pretty much across the board, preliminarily, crime is way down. Violent crime and nonviolent crime. Boy, I guess you could take that a lot of different ways. How do you take it?
Well, just the one statistic there from AI that stands out to me that actually made me laugh is that car thefts are down. Well, I can tell you why that statistic is down. If you look at the news in the last few years, what was one of the prevailing auto theft headlines out there? It was the Kia problem, where 14-year-old kids figured out how to steal a Kia with absolutely no pushback, no, and that was all a technology thing. The kids knew how to get behind the tech and steal a car. And think of how prolific that was nationwide. Well, the manufacturer did a recall and got forced to fixing a lot of these vehicles that were basically an open door to theft. So of course that number is going to go down. And I don't have to do any research on that to tell you that the recalls and really just even the general awareness of that problem. And you don't see the stories in the headlines of all the kids stealing the Kias and everything and doing the joyride now. Does it mean it's not happening? No, I just saw a story about it a couple weeks ago, but
Yeah.
so I'm going to call baloney just on that statistic alone there. And by baloney, I mean, we can trace the cause of that. And it doesn't mean less bad people. It means less opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and then we'll finish this out by the city-specific highlights for 2025, according to AI now.
Okay.
It says many major cities experienced substantial reductions in crime, contributing to the positive national trend. All right, we'll start with Chicago. All right. It says Chicago recorded the fewest murders since 1965, with homicides down 33% in the first half of 2025 compared to the same period in 2024.
I don't have statistics to back it up, and we're solely basing it on opinion and conjecture and everything else. But I'm going to guess some of those are manufactured statistics on that, and I don't see that as possible.
Well, I don't either. Since 1965, what is that? 35, 45? That's 60 years.
Yeah,
And I'm not buying that one at all. Chicago is like, I don't know, they got to be one of the top 5 deadliest. I mean, go to the south side of Chicago, you're taking your life into your own hands. I don't even travel there. I don't leave the freeway.
Nope, I don't even want to drive through Chicago on my way somewhere else. I'm sure you're fine on the highway, but I'd just rather not. And again, a lot of that is probably based on how crimes are charged. You look at what the Chicago DAs are charging. Look at what the Chicago police, and not to knock on the rank and file, because I'm sure there are a lot of good officers on the individual level there. But again, look at what is management allowing them to charge, and what is management allowing them to do? And then, furthermore, what's a DA in Chicago, Cook County going to allow? And I think that's a bigger question there of, are crime stats really what they are? Or is it just a matter of we're not writing it up and we're letting it go?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Washington, D.C. Earlier, and Washington, D.C. has been in the news quite a bit over the past 6 months. since Donald Trump sent in the National Guard. But according to AI, Washington, D.C. saw a 29% total drop in violent crime and a 16% drop in property crime for the year.
Well, and I think that boils down to something, we've already talked about. One is, how is it being reported with the previous police chief? How are the stats being, charged, recorded, whatever? And then again, assuming these are even correct for the year, and I have no idea how NPR or any other source is pulling 2025 stats, this complete, really, at this point in the year. I question that. And if you even say, okay, they're right, well, then maybe the National Guard helped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, or Donald Trump. Donald Trump is making a difference. I mean, you can apply this two different ways. But, this is according to artificial intelligence. And I do this every once in a while, partly for fun, because my son, I did a segment on the show about AI, the rise of AI, where I interviewed my son, who's a pretty high up software developer, and he has some very strong opinions about AI. And he was talking about how AI, you can't trust it. It's like you can trust AI the way Reagan trusted Gorbachev. Trust but verify, right? But and so I did a search on Skip Coriel. Who is Skip Coriel? And that's kind of an open-ended question, but there's not a lot of Skip Coriels out there. But there were some of the things that it got right. I'm an author, published author, instructor, all of these things. But then I was also a well-known regional blues musician. And it's like, there ain't no blues blood, not a drop of blues blood in my entire body. So that told me right there, I can't totally trust AI, and I don't trust these sources. I mean, it could be, Deron, that the news media is just reporting what they want people to believe, and highlighting certain things. They have an agenda. I don't trust anything in the news media, and I think AI relies heavily, not so much on government sources, but on the news media, to get their quote unquote facts.
I heard an interesting interview with actually somebody that works for a firearms company here in the U.S. And he made the comment, he was complaining, he handles marketing for this company, and he made the comment that if you typed in an AI search, basically asking about a particular pistol, their one model comes back in AI ranked lower than it should be, and it was because it was basing it on one website that had one wrong fact about this one particular firearm. And he said, we went to the one website that had the one incorrect fact, asked them to change it, and then all of a sudden AI ranked our firearm higher in the rankings because now there was proper information out there on the web for where the AI, search was looking. So I guess if anything, that's a reminder, AI isn't really AI. It's a modified and, hyped up web search that really just aggregates data, in some sort of a search. And that's it. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like AI could, if AI were really a person, it could say, hey, don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger.
Yeah. Well, my wife, who works in marketing and other arenas like that, always says that AI's job is to make you happy. And once AI figures what you're looking for, it's going to give you an answer that gives you a warm fuzzy. And it's not designed to say something that's going to push up against, what your narrative is. Well, I shouldn't totally say that's true, because you can guess that it's going to take a pretty much an anti-Christian, anti-right, pretty much pro-leftist approach on things. But for some point, if you're looking for data, it's going to kick out the data it thinks you want.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I think all wives should be like that. Honey, just tell me what I want to hear. You're not.
That's not going to end well for me.
Yeah, you're going to say, I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say can and will be used against me.
Yep.
Wise man, wise man. All right. Well, hey, maybe we can get. I mentioned John Arlott. You mentioned was it John Hernan?
Yes, John Hearn.
John Hearn. All right. Maybe we can get someone on there on the show in the next couple of weeks who can tell us what really is going on out there. Is crime up or crime down? But hey, I had fun kicking this around with you and making fun of AI today.
And if anything, it tells us that Google is just going to say what it needs to make us feel good, and I don't believe any of it. That's what I'm going to say. That anybody looking at that's going to say I don't believe any of it.
All right. Well, Deron, we're out of time, but before you go ahead and tell people how they can find out more about you without going through AI.
That's great. So if you can find me on shootingclasses.com at 1791 training, I am actually the beginning of the year going to be doing several update seminars, both in person and in Zoom, with updates to Ohio concealed carry law and just some refreshers on Ohio self-defense law. And those should be posted very soon up there. So if anybody wants to take that, they can hop on Zoom and sit through that with me, or a couple of the in-person locations that I'm going to be doing for that as well in the first quarter of now this year, given that it's 2026 now.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much, Deron, for being on the Home Defense Show today.
Thanks much. Have a happy new year.
All right. You too. All right, folks, that about wraps it up for this week's show. I've had a good time, and I hope you have too. Please don't forget to thank our sponsors, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range at centershotgunrange.com, shootingclasses.com to help you find the right trainer for your needs, Apple Tree Media for website security, and United States Concealed Carry Association. For all your self-defense needs, go to uscca.com. All right, I've written 20-plus books, and they're all available on Amazon.com in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This week, check out my self-defense thriller, Stalking Natalie. I think it'll scare the crap out of you, but in a fun way. And also check out the Home Defense Show videos on Rumble.com. And if you want training from me in person, then check out Midwest Tactical Training at shootingclasses.com. Please join us again next week for all your home defense needs. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!